James Keith began the year with a bang as a Toyota Star Maker Grand Finalist, and that was in the wake of his debut album, Life is Good Today, hitting #1 on the ARIA Australian Country Albums chart and #2 on the AIR Independent Albums chart. He now has a new single, She Don't, and we have some things to talk about. So I'm going to talk to him about them. Hi, James.
Hey, Sophie, how are you? Lovely to see you again.
Great to see you again as well. I am going to start with Star Maker because that was how your year began.
Yep.
And I'm interested, and I think a lot of people are interested in the work of these competitions, particularly something as high profile as Star Maker. So I'm interested in why you decided that now was a good time to enter it.
Oh, look. To be honest with you, it was my third time in a row applying. So, um, this was pretty much going to be my last sort of opportunity to have a crack at it. And I just thought, I mean, you always think you're ready, but the first 2 years, I was really green, thinking that I was ready. But I went away, as you said, did the album, Life Is Good Today album. It went really well, and I'd spent a year, doing some songwriting with Max Jackson, and just doing really kind of trying to level up in every aspect as I could. And then then the third year running, I had some good songs out. I had a cracking song, She Don't, which we're going to talk about, which is one of the second songs that I performed. So I was ready then, and that's why, as I said, I applied twice, been knocked back, third time around. Persistence pays off.
So you're only allowed to enter 3 times. Is that
No, no,
it?
no, no. You can do more, but just for where I was, my age and that kind of stuff too, I was like, no, no. You can make it to the grand final 3 times, so I can keep applying if I want to, but I'm happy with what I did this year. But yeah, you can get to the grand final 3 times, and that's it. Once you've missed out, once you haven't won it for 3 times, then you can't do it anymore. But yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned songwriting with Max Jackson. She is a former Toyota Star Maker winner. So did that association come through Star Maker?
No, no, that was nothing to do with it actually. It was just Max worked alongside Gina Jeffries
Mhm.
as part of her songwriting kind of work. So I did a year with Max, and Gina would pop in, and it was really good sort of to meet a lot of young songwriters too, and up and coming songwriters. And yeah, so that was kind of, it was just a workshop where we go on Zoom and just write a heap of songs here and there for everybody, and just kind of get the feel of what it's like to write a song and that kind of stuff. And then so you know, as I said, I did my first album. I worked on songwriting, I worked on my voice a lot, I worked on performance, and then kind of 2.5 years down the track, obviously they thought I was ready to have a crack, and
Yeah.
we did it.
Yeah. I always get the sense because I hear about these songwriting things that are going on and people are doing here and there. It's like there's this whole world of songwriting happening online now. I
Yep,
guess the pandemic facilitated it. But
true.
I'm just fascinated there's all this creative activity happening that we don't see until the songs come out, really.
Yeah, well, to be honest, what's funny, like, I mean, I just assumed, this is probably me just being, green in the industry. I just assumed anyone who sang their own song wrote their own song. And I had no idea, like, until I got into songwriting. Like, songwriting's a whole, like, career in itself. Like, there are
Mhm.
people who are just career songwriters who make, and now that I've got into it, you understand that a lot more now. So it's really interesting. If you like an artist or whatever, go to the songwriting credits and see who wrote the song, because it's really cool. Like, and I'll tell you what, you'd be so surprised at how many people don't write their own songs, which me as an artist, you know, I mean, I understand why people do it and why there's a career in it. But me as an artist, I want to sing my own sort of songs. So which is why I do these courses and try to, you know, become a better songwriter and
Mhm.
performer and everything else, just to, as a whole kind of package.
And I guess in country music as well, the audience wants that sense that it's your story, right? They want to feel that authentic connection.
Well, I think so, and that's, yeah. To be honest, that's kind of where I'm as an artist. It's if especially if I'm singing it, I want people to believe it, and that's why I want my lyrics to come across, and they're really relatable lyrics too. So that's, yeah, as I said, even though, I mean, there's all different ways songs can go, but yeah, I really find as an artist, if I'm singing the words that I've written down, that's really believable.
Yeah. So back to Star Maker. I'm interested in what's involved in entering. Like, how many stages do you go through before becoming a grand finalist?
Yeah, so basically, like, there's a big audition sort of program. So not an audition. You've got to send, headshots and tell them about your career and your bio, and you got to show you're active in the industry. In
Hmm.
terms of songwriting, they want to, as I said, a bit of a bio to where you've been, what you've done, shows you've played, all this kind of stuff. And then you got to submit 2 songs, not necessarily songs that you're going to perform in the night, but just submit 2 of your songs. And then it goes to the judging panel, and they have, I mean, there's over 100 or something. Like, there's a lot. It's Australia wide,
Hmm.
and basically, yeah, then out of that they pick it. Well, they picked the top 17, and then I had a call from the judges, and they did a bit of a phone
Right.
interview, then narrowed it down to a top 10, and I was lucky enough to make it a top 10. So it is. Look, as I said, this is my 3rd time. So if anyone out there wants to have a crack, you just got to do it. This industry is full of ups and downs, and it's the people who keep going are the ones who end up making it, and that's in any industry. So
Hmm.
yeah. So 3rd time around, and then basically the top 10. Once you're in there, it's like you have a 1 day of judging, like a panel of judges in the morning. Then you go over to hair and makeup if you want that. Then you got literally 10, 15 minutes with the band, and that's it. So
Right.
you have to do all your preparation before that. And I mean, I had a guitar lead not work. There was a few sound issues. So you just got to go with it on the run. So, and literally that's the same as all the contestants have 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it. And then bang, you're into it. So
Yeah, right.
basically happens all that day, on the competition.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not familiar with it, it's not a singing competition. It's not a songwriting assessment competition. It actually is like a career competition, as in the judges are looking for a few different elements, which is why you had to do all
That's
that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it is. And as I said, anything can go wrong on the day or right on the day. It's just, and also too, this is where like I'm a bit older now. I kind of know the ups and downs of the industry. Um, you don't know what the judges are looking for too. There's 10 very, very different artists. It's got to line up with what they want to do. So no matter what, you've got to go away going, I've made the top 10. I've played my 2 songs in front of thousands of people. You don't need to win it to actually have a good career. That's what I understand. So yeah, so that's a really important thing to remember.
And it seems also that the grand finalists can make connections with each other. And of course, you were talking about songwriting with Max Jackson, but also all those connections that you can make during the festival, even, let alone through the competition, can lead to other things.
Well, it's all networking too. You kind of who you know is really important as well. So, I mean, I had Felicity reach out to me a couple of weeks before the grand final, saying she loved my videos that I made prior to the event. So, just little things like that. You do build connections, and obviously backstage there's artists walking in and out. There's industry people around, so you really are on show. And this kind of competition, it's a really big thing for the start of the festival,
Yeah.
and a lot of people come and watch it in the park. And
Mhm.
so it's a great way to put you in the spotlight, and then what you do with that's up to you after that. So look, as I said, no matter what happens, I mean, I was standing up there. I sang 2 of my own songs in front of my little kids. It was a really proud moment, which I'll remember it forever.
Yeah. I presume by Felicity, you mean Felicity Kircher, who won the grand final rather than
Yes.
Felicity Urquhart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean, poor Phil too. She had other people ringing her saying, "Oh, congratulations," and then they're like, "Oh no, it's the other Phil." So poor thing. But no, look, honestly, all 10 were amazing in their own right, in their own kind of, you know. As I said, we're all different artists, we're all different ages, we're all different styles. You just got to go out there, send it, do the best you can, and whatever happens, happens. But
Yeah.
as I said, like my brother Robbie Mortimer, like he's killing it now. There's a lot of people who have gone on, not winning the actual title to go on and have great careers. So you've just got to have that open mindedness and just know that what you're doing is you got to believe in what you're doing, and eventually it'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, yes, being consistent earlier and showing up and sticking with it, often what I say about creative endeavors.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like especially music too. I mean, like this is one thing like I've learned is you're never ever going to please everybody. So once you stop worrying about that, it's just like you've got a weight lifted off your shoulders. Honestly, it's you just got to love what you do and just really believe in what you do for yourself. And if you do that, that's where your fulfillment comes from.
Yeah. Now, you also recently played a night in Nashville in your hometown of Orange, and it was a sellout, and it was out at the racecourse. So it was well over 1,000 people, from what I understand. Did you have fun?
It's a great festival. So my brother Tim actually started the festival 4 years ago, and it just started as a little kind of thing in a shed, and it's just growing and growing every year now. So Haley Jensen was out there this year. Max Jackson's been out there last year, so they're getting some big names out there too. So Orange doesn't have anything big like this. So as I said, watch this space because it's gonna really put Orange on the map in 3 or 4 years.
I did not know that your brother Tim, as opposed to your brother Robbie, had
Yeah,
started that as well.
I'm one
Obviously,
of five boys.
yeah, 4 to 5 boys, but all the Mortimers are interested in music, are they? By the sound of it?
um, well, they are when the 90 Nashville's in town.
Yeah, right. It's because because from what I understand, it's mainly cover songs, but it sounds like you can all play at least a little bit of original music.
No, that's correct. Yeah. So my idea, like, so my brother's idea was to have a, a honky tonk bar in Orange, and then
Right.
obviously, it just gets a bit hard with the the liquor licenses and all that kind of stuff. He wanted an actual bar, and then he said, "Well, right, next thing I'm going to put a night Nashville festival." So he's got all these neon signs made up, and they drink American beers, and it's like a you got a big American flag, and there's bucking bulls and cheerleaders, and but basically, it's like you're in Nashville for a night. So
Right.
he does ask all the artists to predominantly do American songs, but you're allowed to do a few yourself. So like it's not all artists like to do that, but once you buy into that whole thing, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame he can't get his bar going in Orange because Orange, in case people aren't aware, is a happening town at the moment.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, hopefully, so he started to hang some neon signs in one of the local bars in town, this year just to kind of start promoting it. And as I said, it's getting bigger and bigger. So, he's got all the neon signs, he's got the red solo cups ready to go. So he's got live music sorted. So yeah, it won't be too far off, hopefully.
Well, I think also it's not going to be contained to one night by the sound of it because it is
Oh,
just getting bigger and bigger.
hopefully it's three nights a week. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now to your debut album, which you released last year, it is called Life is Good Today. Was it a while in the making?
Look, to be honest, no, no, not really. I literally 4 years ago. I mean, rewind a little bit. I was the guitarist for my brother Robbie for 10 years. I've had my throat issues documented. Fractured larynx playing rugby league. So I thought my singing days were over. And then 4 years ago, I went through a bit of a tough period in my life, and I wrote down, wrote some goals, and then I just said, you know what, I want to write an album. This is something I've always loved music wise. And so I sat down, literally went into Orange and recorded it. Had no idea about production, recording, anything, and not even an idea that I wanted to become an artist. It was just a goal. It was just a goal that I wanted to write down and just tick, so that I ticked it off. So I did it, and I met some really influential people in the industry. Nat Waller being one of them, who lived across the road from me, and she's been a great mentor of mine. And then as you sort of go to a few gigs and you get amongst the industry a little bit, you just kind of meet people, and people do want to help out where they can. So yeah, so I ended up taking some good advice and listening to Nat and a few other people, and releasing singles, and then yeah, as I said, then I met Matt Fell, and
Right.
who's who has done this next round of songs, and you can hear She Don't's just a whole different production kind of level, and songwriting and voice as well. So yeah, like it's good because you can see my kind of start where I've started, and then it's just you just want to be, you want to improve along the way, and so yeah, it just kind of came together within about 2 or 3 months of writing an album, and then I went
Right.
in and recorded it, and then I was like, right, bang, 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 and away we go.
So Nat Waller is the head ABC Music, and I think she's the chair of the ARIA
Yeah,
board. But
she's
yeah.
got her fingers in everything. Yeah, she's a mate. She's an incredible woman. Honestly, yeah, she's fantastic.
So I'm interested for you. As you said, you played guitar for Robbie for 10 years, and you were writing some songs, but no intention to actually become an artist yourself. So there has to have been a point at which you actually made a decision that this was going to be something you were doing. Do you remember that as a moment, perhaps, or was it a dawning realization that actually this is something I can do and I want to do?
No, no, I'll be fair thinking about it. Yeah, look, Robbie and I had a bit of a difference in opinions, and we kind of basically went our own ways. So that was the moment where I was like, right, I'm doing an album. So that was
Okay.
kind of like, and I love Rob. There's no animosity. We're brothers, we're best mates. But it was a strange way the universe sort of pulled us apart and said, you know what, you got to do your own thing, which I think well, it was obviously meant to happen. And I'm a big believer of things happen for a reason. But yeah, it was basically Rob wanted to do it one way, and because I'd originally written the album for Robbie to do, but at that time he didn't want to do country. So this is probably 4 years ago. So this was a bit of a fork in the sand kind of moment, and that was where I was like, right, I've written an album here. If you don't want to do them, I was going to get another singer, but again, then they're my kind of songs, and growing up on Orange and this kind of stuff. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it myself, and here we are.
Because it is somewhat of an origin story album. There is very much a lot of your story in there. And Robbie is quite a different artist to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and it's been great to sort of see Robbie evolve to where he is now, to where he started. And that's what music is too. Music's evolution and creativity is just a whole different thing. So yeah, it was, as I said, it was a great way the universe was saying, boys, go and do your own thing, and you can come back and do whatever you want later on. So it's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think he was the Star Maker Grand Finalist the year before you. So there you go.
Two, 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 2 years ago, 2 years prior. So, and that was good. Like I watched him. I was in Sydney, but I watched him, on the YouTube channel or whatever, and very proud of where he was then. But I mean, you see him now. He's done tremendously well. So it's I definitely, even though I'm the older brother, I definitely look up to him, and we help each other along. We write some songs together, and as I said, we've played with each other for 10 years, so we know each other like probably too much.
Yeah. But that's the nature of siblings, right? So you're certainly allowed to know each other too much.
Exactly.
But speaking of people you write songs with, you wrote She Don't with Jax Tonic, who is an artist also from Sydney. How did that collaboration come about?
Yeah, look, Jackson's a good mate of mine. Well, he lives in Seaforth, so not too far away from where I am in Monavale here. And we came around, had a session in this factory, and we with the creative process, sometimes you just, if you try to force it, it just doesn't happen. And we had a session here for about an hour and trying to build this song, and it wasn't happening. So he said, look, let's scrap that. Let's go for a walk. We'll come back. Let's throw a few chords together, and all of a sudden I could hear the dun 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 in the melody of the chords, and it was just the she don't, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, even though it's not right proper English. She don't, it's a really hooky kind of, well, put it this way, I was listening to a lot of Beatles at the time, and I love how they repeat the hook so many times almost through every song, So I just thought she don't, and then also we were talking about building like a storytelling song. So like I love Luke Bryan's "Play It Again," that song, and it's kind of like a cool song about he meets a girl and tan legs swinging off the Georgia plate, all this kind of really sort of descriptive kind of lyrics. And we thought, why don't we make a song about, this bloke meets a girl at a bar, but she doesn't like all these things, tractors and dust and rust, and basically farm life.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like Farm Wants a Wife. We weren't even thinking about it at the time, but someone said, mate, this is like this theme song to Farm Wants a Wife, and it is. And as they spend a bit of time together through the song, he takes her in a four-wheel drive and they go down the river and all this kind of stuff, but she still doesn't like all these things. And then in the bridge, she kind of comes around, turns up on his door, and she's like, I'm here to stay now. And then at the end of the song, she does love all the things. So it's just a cool story. It's a cool kind of metaphor with, like, when you're in love or you meet someone for the first time, you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And that's what this song's all about. So it's kind of relatable as well.
Yeah. So at the time we're speaking, Farmer Wants a Wife is on air on the Seven Network, and they are in fact advertising for next season, James. So I suggest you get in touch with the producers and say, "Well, I have a theme song for you."
Yeah. No, we're already doing that.
All right.
We've got, as I said, I'm just floating ideas out there, but yeah, no, we've contacted them. We'll see what happens.
Well, and also because I do watch the show, I have to say I don't watch a lot of television, but I do watch that show partly because I write recaps for a friend of mine when she can't do them for her social media account. But they do sometimes have a live singer, and in fact,
they do.
This year's season, where they have Jared Wrigley, who is a country
music artist. He's a good man, Jared. I know Jared. Yeah, I met him at Tamworth. He's a good-looking rooster too. But yeah, no, I know they have a few live bands at the end, the finale show, whatever it is. So
yeah,
we'll see. Watch Thanks.
Yeah. So you mentioned that Sheena was produced by Matt Fell,
Yeah.
and I don't actually know when Matt sleeps because he's a very busy man.
It
So
is.
did you have to wait a while to work with Matt?
Look, to be honest, at the start, no, I didn't. You know, I reached out to him just with some good contacts, and I met him up at Tamworth, and I just sent him some stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, great, no worries at all." I went down to Tasmania to his
Hmm.
place called Walden, Tasmania, which is absolutely beautiful, north of Tasmania, in February last year. But yeah, like anything, you know, I'm getting a she date now, so so I went down there with 5 songs then, and they're all ready to go, locked and loaded, bang 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 this year, which is really exciting. Off the back of the Star Maker, I've got this plan up my sleeve, so which is a big year of releases. I'm going down to Tasmania in June to finish the album as well, so which is coming out in February hopefully. So yeah, look, it does take a time, and I'm a I'm a bit of a like any artist too. Like I'll go back and change like a synth or like a snare sound. Like I'm like that. I'm a bit, you know, bit crazy like that, and he loves that. You know, like Matt Fell actually does love that. But yeah, like I want my sound to sound exactly how I want it. If it takes a little bit longer, then that's fine because I get a product that I really really believe in. So
Well, and you are an independent artist, and you can make those decisions, right? Because you are running the business of James Keith.
that's right. Yeah, and that's it's spot on. You know, spot on. I've got all control about basically everything that I do. So to the artwork, to the branding, to everything. So you know, when I first got this song back, I remember I was laying on my daughter's bed and I just had the biggest smile from ear to ear. Like I fell in love with this song straight away, and I just love the kind of it's my sound. You know, like I've got that kind of rocky, kind of Australian, like 90s rock riff in there. I love Coldplay. I love synth, and I love probably that kind of anthemic kind of sound. Like I want people to come to my shows and feel good and jump around and have a good time. And so I write music to really perform, and then
Mhm.
it's got the good country kind of lyrics and relatable stories in them too. So it's my kind of own kind of sound of country. It's not traditional, but you know, as I said, I love. I'm not here trying to please everybody else. I'm just here to make music that I love from my heart and soul, and you know that's where I get fulfillment from.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you'd done some work on your voice, and you also mentioned the damage to your larynx from when you were playing rugby league professionally. I could hear a difference in your voice actually. Like it sounded stronger. It actually sounded like the tone had shifted a bit.
Yeah,
So is that just was a matter of finding like the right vocal coach for you, or even a doctor who was helping you out with things?
yeah. Look, it's been a long process actually. As you said, I played rugby league. I had a fractured, I got an elbow to the throat. I lost my voice for 8 days. This is probably like 13 years ago now. And then that's why I never sang and I played guitar for Robbie. Then when I decided to write the album, the very first album, I had no singing lessons. I didn't even warm up. I had no idea. I literally just went in and I sang. And you can see the difference now. So after that, I was like, okay, you know, so I got a good vocal coach, but I've got no falsetto at all because of the damage that I caused. And you know, I'm not a quitter. So if you know, like you know, people can say all this sort of stuff, and I'm just going to keep going. And but yeah, so I had vocal coaching, which kind of talks about placement a lot. You know, a
Hmm.
lot of the time I was really pushing from here, but my vocal folds were like that. They never shut properly, and you get your projection and your strength and your falsetto from closure, right?
Right.
So mine don't close, or they didn't close. So I had two surgeries to. It's like a Botox where they go in and they pump either side of the
Right.
vocal folds up, and it really did change my voice. It just gave me a lot more clarity.
Mhm.
And the third one, they had to like slice me open and actually type in gauze. So it's an ongoing sort of battle. But I just if I sing in my range and I sing and I let the production do the high bits around it, there
Mhm.
is a sweet spot there. And you know if that's what I've got, that's what I've got. I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, and it's your sound as well. That's the thing. It's now
Right.
become your sound.
That's right, exactly right. And I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I don't compare to anybody else. If you do, that's the recipe for to not being happy.
Yeah.
So,
Comparison is the thief of joy, as the saying
it
goes.
really is. It really is. So, and I've learned all these sort of things which we'll talk about. But yeah,
Yeah.
as I said, I've got a dance song coming out called Alive, and it's just like I sit in this pocket like this. It's like a country dance song, and I got these synths and everything around it, and they got this country beat, which I can't wait to show you. It's going to be magic.
Well, a country dance song also sounds appropriate for A Farmer Wants a Wife.
Yeah,
So,
exactly right. Just take over the show.
so I talked about you running the business of being James Keith, basically, but you also run another business, and you mentioned that you're sitting in a factory. Now you have a landscaping business, but that's also creative work, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's creative work. Yeah, it's I've had it for 15 years. When I was playing rugby league, I had a bit of a backup plan, which was landscaping, and I love it. I love the landscaping business. It keeps me fit. I'm outside with the boys. We listen to music all day, every day. I'm going around. It's all residential work around the northern beaches. So it's we get really good relationships with clients, and as you said, it's creative work too. Sometimes we have plans. Sometimes I'll come in and I'll say, look, people might have a bit of an idea, and I'll just come in and just help them through their ideas and products. And so yeah, it's great for my business too, because it gives me the freedom now. I've had it for 15 years. The business is at a point now where it can pretty much run itself,
Mhm.
and I've got some really good staff that I really work on and work with, and then it gives me the freedom to have a factory and make as much noise as I want whenever I want.
Well, that's true, actually. Yes, and a great rehearsal space by the look of it.
Well, if only I could turn this around. I live in, I've built a stage. I've got a big black curtain there, and I've literally built a drum riser. I've got my guitars on the wall. It's a permanent rehearsal studio. Got some lights up the top there, so it's a great creative space. I literally have to come in, flick one button on, everything comes on. It's like fairy lights, and and all the speakers come on, and away I go. So I literally live inside a stage. So,
Love it.
and I got a
So,
sauna there too.
sorry, you have a what?
I got a sauna there as well, so it's
Oh,
my
no.
heater.
Saunas and ice baths seem to be the thing right now.
They
Every
are, they
every
are the
bloke
big
I
thing.
know, I think, is doing saunas and ice baths.
That's it.
So this may or may not be related, actually, because something else I learned about you is that you have attended many Tony Robbins programs. I was going to
Yeah.
say that too quickly. For those who haven't heard of Tony Robbins, he's a self-help guru, I guess we would say, from the United States.
Yeah.
What do you like about his work?
I just honestly, I just love how he genuinely cares. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're in a cult" and all this kind of stuff. It's nothing like that at all. Like you go to these seminars. I mean, this is my vision board behind me here. I look at every day. I went to Miami. I've been all over the world to see his seminars. Look, he just basically he makes you understand why we are the way we are with our survival brain, and he teaches you how to rewire it to look for
Mm,
the good in everything. I mean, there is problems everywhere you look at, but if you focus on those things, you know which way your life's going to go. And this is why the average person isn't in a beautiful relationship, or doesn't isn't healthy, or all these kind of things. It's because of our survival brain. So basically, he just teaches you little certain skills. He never tells you how to do things or whatever. He just gives you the skills to go away and do it yourself. So
mm,
I got these vision boards. I got one there. As I said, go back to 4 years ago. It was the toughest period of my life, and I read a book and I wrote a list of goals, and this is why I am a singer now, is because I know this is my destiny. So he's helped me to, yeah, as I said, got a sauna here. I live it. Basically, what he does is he lives his life with love and gratitude, and you can't be angry, you can't be pissed off or frustrated if you have love and gratitude in your life. You just can't. And
yeah.
you will have moments of I mean, I'm not going to say that I have a perfect day every day, because I don't, but I know how to get out of that and live in a beautiful state. And basically, in a nutshell, it's all about living in a beautiful state. If you're in a beautiful state, you make good decisions, and it's about getting back to your center a lot. So yeah, if anyone's going through a tough time or whatever, I highly recommend it. He's got so many free things online, and on YouTube and shorts. So yeah, but yeah, I truly love what he's about.
I think what you said there about if you're not having a great day, you know how to get out of it.
Yeah,
That's a really important skill, and it is a skill. It's
it's a
not some intuitive knowing.
Well, as I said, because your survival brains take you back to try and look for what's wrong. It's an incredible skill set if you can master it. On the side of, like, you can see that little board there,
Yeah.
the little whiteboard on the side of my sauna. I track my mood every single day, and it's like happy, all the way plus 15 is 15 good things, and I track it every day, and I'm honest, and I do it with my kids as well. And if they're worried or sad from school, we do it every time they walk in the door, and yeah, so I basically just track my mood every single day, and then if if I'm not in a great state, I just know how to get myself back there. And that's, I've just got these skills to be able to do that. So it's incredible. It's incredible once you actually understand why we are the way we are and how to change that. That's a critical skill set to really, living in a beautiful state every day.
So it sounds like the time at which you became interested in this was 4 years ago when you were going through some difficulty.
It was when I was at the lowest part of my life. So and I'll be honest with you, I went through a separation, had three beautiful young babies, and my number one goal was to have the best relationship with Kimmy and the kids. That was my number one. Second was to write an album. Third was to get fit and healthy, and I do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every single day. Like I do all these things. Like Kimmy and I have a beautiful, beautiful relationship now, and our kids are just thriving because of it. We parent the same way. So I was at the lowest of lows. I'd never been depressed or anything like that, but I had nowhere to go. My family turned on me. Like it was a horrible period of my life. But I read Tony's book, Unlimited Power, and honestly, from that day forward, I can tell you that every single day I've got better and better, and this is why I go to these seminars, because you get amongst people who just really just want to become the best versions of themselves, and it's a really powerful. Positivity attracts positivity, and like flip side too, if you're around someone negative, it just drags everyone down. So I've made some really critical changes in my life, and things are happening because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does take consistent work. It takes showing up and sticking with it, actually, as we were talking about before.
It's a big thing, like never give up as well. Like this board it's only half done. I went to a date with Destiny in Miami last year, and I add into things every single day, and it's just nice little reminders just to get up and just look at my goals and just have something to grow. And I mean, Tony always says you feel alive when you're growing, but you feel 10 times more alive when you're giving. So when you can actually contribute. So, and that's I mean, he's spent 50 years doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I mean, look, I'm 4 years ago I was the lowest of lows, and now I'm firing at every aspect of my life. And there's still, obviously, as I said, there's still areas I'm always trying to work on every single day, and no one's ever perfect, but yeah, I'm certainly in a lot better place than what I was.
Well, and I do tend to think of what we might call the self-help gurus out of the United States who came through at a particular time. He is the one who is actually still around in terms of me hearing people talking about his work. So his name pops up pretty regularly with people who might be doing something quite different, but they're like, oh, well, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I read a Tony Robbins book and it had a real impact on me. So I tend to find his influence is quite widespread and possibly more than people realize.
Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't really. I'd seen him in that movie Shallow Hal, and again, it's with Jack Black. It's a similar. He plays a similar role of what he does in the movie. So yeah, it was just when my old drummer at the time gave me this green book, and I read it. It took me a year to read it, um, but because I went through every single page and just dog-eared what was important to me, then did everything through it. But yeah, as I said, he's helped. It's over 50 million people worldwide. The Dalai Lama. He's worked with presidents. He's worked with everybody. Like he's worked with, the best runners, the best athletes. He owns all these teams. Like he's got 100 businesses. He doesn't need to work. He doesn't need to do anything anymore. But he does it because he this means a lot to him. That's when you go to his seminars, you understand that, which is why he does a lot of courses and that for free as well. He doesn't need money. He does it because he loves people.
Yeah. I think the main reason that people might think that he runs a cult is because of the whole walking over hot coals thing, which was around a few years ago. And that was what reported about him.
I've done that. I've got a tattoo here. I
How was it?
Fairly honest with you, I walked over 12 foot of coals on a hot coal. I did not feel a thing. I swear to God, I did not feel a thing. He gets you in such a a state of mind that you can do anything. You can do it. It's incredible. I'm actually going to Germany in September to do it again. Yeah. It's like he basically wants you when you can take control of your mind, you
Mhm.
can do anything. You really can. You believe you can do anything.
Yeah, look, I know from things I've done in my own life, that is correct, and it does take work, and I guess that's the unappealing part of it sometimes when we want a magic fix for things, to realize that you actually need to keep doing it,
Yeah.
is not appealing always.
No, and also like a cult as well is, as a leader tells you what to do, right? And everyone does what they do. Tony Robbins does not tell you what to do. He gives you the skills in all different aspects of your life, relationships, finances. He doesn't tell you what to go and buy or who to go and marry. He just gives you the skills in how you can fix yourself to go and do things in your own life and implement it. So that's where it's different, right? So he never forces you to do anything. He never tells you what to do anything. He just does all these incredible, you know, just incredible
Motivational, I think it's part of it. Yeah.
things that you just buy in because you do see positive results in yourself. So, as I said, really, really changed my life in an incredible way.
So you, out of that work with Tony Robbins, you set the intention to become an artist and release an album. You have now done that. I'm interested in whether that work you do with him actually influences the sorts of stories you want to tell through your songs.
Well, it actually does, yeah, big time. Because it's all about chasing. I mean, my next song coming out in 2 months is called "Chasing Dreams."
Right.
So yeah, and the dance song that I'm telling you about is called "Alive," and "Alive" is actually about a girl that I met. Um, you know, basically he tells you how to go up to girls and be what have you got to lose? So I went up to this beautiful girl and she had a boyfriend at the time, but we spent a few hours just chatting and I felt so alive. So I wrote a song called Alive, literally. So and just so yeah, a lot of these things, as I said, chasing dreams and thinking big and positivity, like life is good today. That's my whole life mantra. I've got people saying to me all the time, "Oh, life is good today." Even my kids in the morning, I'm like, "Life is," and they say, "Good today." Like all these kind of things, yeah, is um, is oh, I can't remember the word, but it's
I think
infectious.
it is. I mean, you could just say it just is. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So yes, I do write about chasing dreams and being alive and feeling good and life is good today and all these kind of positive things.
Yeah.
Music's such a powerful tool. So if I don't want to put people in a depressive state singing about a sad breakup song and put them back into a state. I want them to get over it and go, right, you know what? Life goes on. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you dump me more, that's your problem. I'm going to keep going. And going back to this positivity, there is a positive thing in every single situation, whether you believe it or not. I'm telling you, there is. So even if it's your heart's been ripped out, the worst breakup ever, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're just going to see it.
I think that is a fabulous note to end this discussion on, because I think you've offered a lot actually to listeners / viewers if people are watching this, and in that way you continue the work. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just you just got to know what you want. Just go hard.
James, I think we can. You are definitely doing that, and I look forward to hearing the new songs when they're out. In the
Yeah,
meantime, thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it. Always great to chat with you, Sophie. Thank you for your time.